So we're always complimenting you on your style and sort of like, damn,
sick.
You're looking great. And we know you got loads of like young. And we know you got loads of like younger fans on here. So we wanted to know, was it always the case growing up where you had this sense of identity, or like, do you remember?
Like, I grew up around music. Like, rock and roll was a lot about my education because my old man had a guitar shop. And I mean, I literally remember the moment I found Lou Reed, because I think I was about 11 or 12 or 13. Because at 9, I wasn't listening to like Bowie and Lou Reed. You know what I mean? I was into Slipknot and shit because of the way they looked, but I was like into McFly and Busted and all that bollocks. But then I got to like 12 and 13, and then was like, whoa. And I remember finding Lou Reed, and I remember finding Bowie, and I remember finding Linda Ronstadt, and I remember finding the Sex Pistols, and I remember finding Blondie, and just these kind of characters who I didn't really give a. It wasn't the music that turned me on first, and a lot of people say that's weird. You know what I mean? So I was like, we're in music. You know what I mean? We're into music, but it was what they fucking said and what they represented.
Yeah.
That made me question everything I thought I'd ever known, every feeling I thought I'd ever felt. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, if I could be like that, that's real superpowers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With it all, like us all, man, you find someone important, and you accumulate your influences, and you put a little bit of Johnny in it, you put a little bit of Bowie in it, you put a little bit of fucking Freddie in it, a little bit of Mick in it, and then you like put yourself. It finds who you are. I'll never forget, like Mick Jagger said in Crossfire Hurricane, the sick Rolling Stones documentary, was like, you play the part until you become it.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting, like, you know what I'm saying? You know when you fucking start about,
you're learning.
You like wearing your fucking, you buy a Jaguar because Kurt Cobain played it. You put on a cardigan because Kurt Cobain played it. But then then you bring that thing up a bit, and then you take that off, and you blah blah blah, and you kind of go through this mental musical journey, and then you fucking end up as you.
Yeah.
And I remember the most beautiful thing about this whole fucking thing is I didn't make Yungblud. You know what I mean? I got some black hearts and pink socks and wrote 4 songs that I thought represented what I had to say and what I was going to say in this world. And then they took it and they carried it. And then I would meet people and go, they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you wrote this lyric in King Charles. I relate to this shit so much. And I'm like, whoa, that meant something to you, because that's how I feel too. So then as an artist, you start to fucking run with it and go, so much more to say like that.
Yeah.
So, like Tim Pan Boy comes out, and Lona comes out, and things come out, and then fucking Mars comes out, because stories, and they make it what it is. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Morrissey didn't make the Smiths. The fans made the Smiths. Noel Gallagher didn't make Oasis what it was eventually. He wrote the songs, and then the fans took it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
I get what you're saying, because like when you're first growing up, we always say when we first came into music, it was always a little bit not well, I guess naive, because we're learning about the world, we're learning about ourselves, and you're a sponge. You're just looking around and you're figuring it out as you go along. But when you start figuring things out, you understand your own power, you understand your responsibility and your purpose. Exactly. And then that purpose becomes along the way, and then you turn into what you're supposed to be at the end.
It is like I know what you're saying. It feels like your superpower, finally discovering your purpose in the world and what you can give back to people.
I think that's what's amazing about kind of original artists. It always takes people a minute to truly understand it, because of course it's an acclamation of many things you've done, but it's not digestible, man. You know what I mean? It's not a digestible thing until that artist, if they can, moves culture so then it becomes digestible. You know what I mean? Like fucking 4 years ago, playing rock music was mental.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, fuck, like playing rock and roll music 4 years ago, people were like, why?
Yeah.
Literally, we was the same. We was like not digestible at all.
What is this?
It was like, what are you doing?
What is this?
Like, why?
We went on our own journey for years,
You have
didn't
to,
we?
yeah, create your own lane, and we feel like that's what you've done as well, and that's how we can feel like we can relate. And it was amazing coming on your tour and seeing your fan base kind of just feel that energy as well and being different.
And also, we love how you encourage your fans to unapologetically be themselves. And like, it's nice to see them actually legit, because we were there, so we can see exactly what's going on. And they are there just like, they've got their flags in the air and what they stand for and what they love, and they're dressing how they want, and they feel really good. And obviously speaking to a few of them and how they feel about coming to the show. And it is real. It's incredible to see, and it's such a great buzz. But to build that confidence to where you are now, how did you do that, and how do you keep it? How do you keep it up, like that confidence? Because it is, the industry we're all in, it is critical, and it is difficult time for all of us, you know.
Especially our genre, you know what I mean? I think our genre is the most pretentious genre there is out there, I think. You know what I mean? It's a fact, but thank fuck there's conversation within it again. You know what I mean? Thank God, because it's fucking boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think with it all, I think all this has ever been is me looking into an iPhone going, hello, is there anyone out there like me? That's literally it. You know what I mean? And I think it's literally like, I don't know what else to say. Like, when people question it and when people, they can, it's fine, because that's the point. I said, when you start to dabble with mainstream culture,
that's when it becomes
people come to an idea that's already been going, and it comes at them all at once, and they go, where the fuck did that come from? This must be inauthentic. This must be manufactured. This must be staged, because it hits the mainstream culture, because the fucking culture gets that big, and then bang, it, like I'm telling you, like, I think you're going to be fucking massive. I've said that since the beginning. You know what I mean? I said that since I found you. But I'm just like, wait for that day when it just goes pop and everyone's like, fucking, where did Nova Twins come from? Fuck did they come from? You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
I promise you, it's like, it's so crazy to talk about this, because it's like, it happened like 8 months ago. And it was rough for me, because it was like, everyone was like, where the fuck's this Yungblud kid come from? And to fucking Tesco mums and Ed Sheeran and Ariana Grande fans, I'm scary as fuck. And then to exploit fans, metal awards, I'm a fucking poser, because I don't fit anywhere. You know what I mean? And I think people car park had to put me in some kind of box, because that's what people have to do. You know what I mean? And
box.
you know what I mean? And the whole fucking, I think the whole thing about me is like, if you get defined by one thing, that's a complete contradiction of what the fuck I am anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why it's so funny. I remember when I Think I'm Okay popped off, and shit like that. Everyone's like, right, he's going to make a pop punk album. I was like, well, no, I'm not, because that one thing will not define me. You know what I mean? That was a fucking beautiful moment, and that was a fucking beautiful moment in time. I was talking about that yesterday. It's like, you have one moment where the world, apart from your culture, knows you for, and then that's just what you
want you for that. They're just like, you're more than one moment. Yeah.
Cool, because it's like, it makes the fucking journey a lot more fun.
Yeah, definitely. So you're talking about the last 8 months kind of being particularly crazy for you, and you're such a busy bee. I mean, you are everywhere.
Before the show, after the show.
I mean, it's so inspiring. Like, your work ethic is just, it's insane. It's really, really insane. So with such a demanding schedule, how do you find time to kind of relax and unwind? What do you do? And also, like, what tips do you have for people who are stressed at school or at work with similar kind of demanding schedules, how to unwind?
I think with it, I always say, like, if you're, because this is all about individuality, and I believe that like expression and letting out what you have inside is the most beautiful and important thing in the world. You know what I mean? To be truly who you are is, there's nothing fucking cooler than that. You know what I mean? Absolutely nothing cooler than that. And I think when I found what I was into, I never want to stop, because it is my fucking medicine. Like, I come straight off tour and go into the studio and people are like, are you crazy? But that is like my holiday.
Oh, wow.
I get fucking
Good.
heal myself and shit. You know what I'm saying? I get to fucking heal my spirit and talk about things that pissed me off and get me mad. And I would just kind of say, like, if you're struggling at school, and if you're struggling in life and at work, and sometimes feel like you don't fit in, I promise you, like, when you get home, there's that voice in the back of your head that will tell you to express yourself in a certain way. If that's fucking painting a picture, if that's fucking watching a TV series, if that's fucking singing mental songs in the shower, if that's fucking going on a run in the park, if that's doing something, do what you fucking want to do. You know what I mean? Honestly, I would just like, I just think it's so much bollocks out there, and so many rules and restrictions from people who restrict you because they're more terrified than you. I fucking promise you. You know what I mean? They are. I was talking the other day about the idea of the cool kid and fucking the weirdo, and in school and at work and in life, really. I would just say to you, like, the cool kid ain't actually the cool kid. The cool kid's fucking confused. Like,
It's so pure and intimidated, exactly.
just because you're colourful and a weirdo and strange, they will ridicule for it because they're terrified of you. You know what I'm saying? And I would never I just think, like, if you get ridiculed for being who you are, and you get ridiculed for being kind of beautifully yourself, it's gonna fucking hurt. But don't pity them, man, because you've got something that they haven't, and people will find that out one day. You know,
Yeah.
that's what fucking rock and roll's about to me. That's what rock music's about. It's not just about fucking guitars and shit like that. I fucking love playing guitar, and I love it, like, going off my tits as much as the next person. But it's about energy, because in this world, energy is the only thing that doesn't lie to you.
Yeah.
The
And
energy doesn't lie. You know what I mean?
and with, like, obviously, like, rock music, I think now there's a difference between, like, being a rock musician and being an absolute dickhead to people, or being a rock like musician and being just nice and actually wanting to give something positive out there. It's not all about that kind of ego and that swag, like, I'm this and
Absolutely, because that's the thing for me. Like, people, like, in the beginning of your career, it's like everyone labeled me as this a punk, in inverted commas, whatever the fuck that means, right? But people got mad because they were holding so tightly onto an ideology that happened 45 years ago.
yeah,
Kind of a rise up, and a sick rise up against fascism,
yeah,
and kind of in the UK. You know what I mean? That was. And I don't really know much about American punk, so if any American punks are on here, slap me in the fucking wrist if I say bullshit. But I was like, with it all, it changed. It became less about division and less about. It became more about unity and people coming together. That is the new fucking.
that is the vibe.
That is the new fucking way rock and roll is happening, because you're doing it, I'm doing it, and so many young rock and roll musicians who are doing it too. And that's what's happening. It's about fucking unity, and no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what opportunity you have had, you fucking deserve a right not to be accepted. No, fuck being accepted. That's this level bollocks. Adored and fucking loved and understood and fucking held and celebrated. And that's what I'm gonna spend the rest of my life fucking doing.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
That's what it's all about, you know. People get so confused, like, punk is about just being cool and, like, yeah, but it's literally about that, bringing people up, being different, and not judging anyone. It's like no
that's
judgment.
all our punk.
This is our
It's
punk.
not every.
That's what
Our punk.
oh, you've got your punk. This is ours.
Yeah, this is our punk.
It's a real punk.
Yeah,
But talking about like energy, and this is a bit more of like a fun question because we just want to know the answer to. So obviously the energy is intense on stage, and we just see you just going for it. You're like dripping. There's
flames and the pyro.
Flames. It's all going off, and there's only like 3 of you on stage. But then we say 3, but there's a 4th member, and we have to talk about your big duck.
yes, fucking Ronald, man. Fucking duck.
How did your duck kind of,
Not even gonna lie to you, right? I was in the bath, honestly. In the bath, just fucking chilling out, thinking about how the fuck can I come back with something that's just like sick but stupid, and fucking seen a rubber duck floating. I got like a couple of rubber ducks in my bath, you know what I mean? And I was like, let's make a massive 35-foot red rubber duck and put it on stage. And I walked into my team, you know when you have like a fucking team meeting, right? And I was like, right, I fucking got it. The show is going to consist of fire, leather, and a fucking 35-foot red rubber duck. And everyone was like, and I said, exactly.
What was the first show with the duck?
I think it was Reading and Leeds.
Is it? That's so
I think it was like, let's just bring out a big 35-foot inflatable rubber duck. And
it's so sick though.
It made the impact. Everyone was like, what the fuck?
And just keep it just fucking massive, innit? It's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, giant Ronald the duck.
Big fucking red rubber duck, bollocks.
I kid you.
It is really, really cute. And I like
like
all the little ones that.
And everyone loved it, and then we started selling rubber ducks on tour, and everyone started going mad for them. You know what I mean?
It's very, very cute.
They're fucked up because the duck's head has got spikes on it, so when you put it in the bath, the head's too heavy, so it tips on its side.
It's all right. It's just like a.
It's fine. It's
Right.
Mini duck.
What have you guys got coming up? I'm excited. Come on, like, cause maybe there's like a lot. Some of my fans on here. I was like, let's like see what Nova Twins got coming up.
We've got our European tour and our UK tour and US tour, so we're so excited to like play our album.
Go see him. Honestly, everyone get a fucking ticket. It's so show. Spreaders, man.
So
Yeah, it's doing the rounds.
Doing the
The album's out now, so we're just gonna be. Can't wait to. It's touring it like this year and next year, really. So that's gonna be fun. Getting some of the new songs in the set.
Was it?
Yeah.
So we've only got a few minutes left, so we're just gonna kind of skip through these. We've got to talk about your fan base because they're the most loving, amazing, you know, one of the best fan bases we've ever seen. You know, we came on European tour, we met with love, and just we felt amazing.
Yeah.
So we want to say, can you remember a time where you felt like a true strength in your community? Because you can feel that in every show, but can you remember a time?
I remember the first moment. It kind of, I felt the magic that you feel like, honestly, truly, like when you come to a YB show, that's, you walk in and you're like, oh fuck, wow, it's a culture.
Yeah, it is.
It just literally is. It's a movement, and I remember, as I said earlier, it came from them. I turned up and it was the first country was Amsterdam, right? And no one would fucking pay attention in the UK in the beginning. I think like radio didn't want to play me, labels weren't fucking interested, the press just wouldn't even write about me. You know what I mean? And I remember
the same with us.
so funny, innit? And I remember going to Amsterdam to a venue upstairs called Melkweg upstairs, and as the same now, the kids were stood outside with T-shirts that said "Youth for the Young" on them, because I'd like I remember I went to Primark and I bought 10 t-shirts and I got a paint pen and I did that in my management office because I had fuck all to do, you know what I mean? So I'd do these stencils and shit. And I was doing these Youth for the Young t-shirts and then they made them themselves. And I was like tripping out because I was like, what the fuck, people turn up to my show. And I remember going upstairs because when the venues were that small, that early, I didn't know how many tickets I'd sold. I would just turn up and do it. So I went upstairs and then the promoter was like, yo, you've sold the show out tonight. I was like, what? And it was like 10 tickets. I was like, and I remember that moment vividly. And I said, I want this community and this culture to feel like this for the rest of my life. And now it's mental because we like going into arenas and booking arena shows. I'm like, that's why I wanted to do shit like ice cream vans outside the venue in the UK and shit like that. So I want it to be an event. I want people, because when the bus leaves, Yungblud doesn't leave. I want young people and people to stand in the lines for 5 hours and meet friends and meet places and be a part of things where they can meet up. So if that person has been struggling at school for fucking 6 months, they meet a person from another school or another side of town that's just like them, and after school they can meet up and get fucking, I don't know, a soda and like talk about shit, you know what I mean, and find each other and hold each other and shit, and that's what it's about, you know what I mean.
And that's so good because it kind of brings us to, like, I guess almost to the end now, which is sad, but we are on the Misfits. Sorry. We're on the Misfits playlist. We don't fit in, and we all say we don't actually want to fit in.
No.
Like
you said earlier, like it's way cooler.
That's just a load of shackles. So that brings us to our last question, doesn't it?
Yes. So you kind of answered it earlier, but we like to end on advice for the end of the episode. So what advice would you give people who are struggling to find their identity? Maybe they want to like
stand out,
but they're just kind of thinking like, how do I get into it or really find myself?
I think with it all, it's in your head. It is. I know it's so crazy to say that, and a lot of people feel seen when I say shit like this, and it's kind of a bit scary when I look at people and go, it's in your head. Lou Reed said that. He's like, it's there right now. It's fucking right at the back of your head, and it's talking to you, and it's shouting at you, and it's hugging you and holding you, and you're ignoring it. And all you need to do is find people who will love you for it. And they don't need to be people at school yet. They don't need to be people at work yet. It can be a fucking artist. It can be a book. It can be a picture. It can be a piece of clothing. Put something on that makes you feel good. No matter how weird or wacky it is, go and fucking listen to a song that makes you feel good. And then kind of fall into those worlds. I think our biggest enemies are ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, that is true.
Because it's really frightening to do that. But what I would say, I think the reason why I wanted to build Yungblud is if you are truly yourself and you put that on the internet and you put on your story or you put on TikTok, you're like, this is what I am, this is what I like, this is what I do. Is there anyone out there like me? It's what I fucking did, and I found 4 or 5 million people like that. I promise you, do that, there'll be someone in this world that will respond to you.
Nice.
So find your community. It might not be at school or at work like you're saying, but there is a community out there.
So much than what we are taught it is. Saying if you can find your best friend in Venezuela when you're in Manchester, and that's sick as fuck, and that's what it's good for.
Exactly.
And that's it, everyone.
That was a lovely way to wrap it up. The second episode. Thank you, Spotify UK, for having us.
Yes,
and the amazing Yungblud.
And we love you. You know we love you.
Well, you know we love you.
Can't wait. Honestly, like, watch this space, everybody. This band's gonna be fucking massive. I promise.
Oh, thank you.
And the pressure.
And the pressure, God.
Leave it.
Oh, well, thank you again. And we'll be seeing you soon, won't we?
Love you all.
See you later. Thanks so much. Bye. Bye.
Oh yeah. Peace and love.